welcome back to our podcast, What You Don't See. And as some of you probably noticed, we are shooting season 2 here at my new office. If you don't yet know, my office used to be a strip club. It was called Exotica's. And that was around for what? How long was Exotica's around for?
Oh, I have no clue. At least 10, 15 years. It was like forever. It was like a staple of the valley.
It was a very fun place. Very fun place.
So
nice memories.
Yeah, it used to be a strip club, and then I did not shut it down, contrary to popular belief. People think that I shut it down and made it into my office. It was already shut down. I bought it, and then I turned it into my office. And so we did an episode on this a few weeks ago, but there were so many questions that I couldn't answer. So we decided, let's just bring in our contractor, designer, architect, engineer, everything, like literally everything. Because I didn't pick out like a single piece of furniture, like art, decor, anything. So let's start off. What was your first thought when I was like, hey, can you transform Exotica Strip Club?
Oh my gosh.
Like, what went through your mind?
What went through my mind? Obviously, major challenge. I was at a point in my life where I had just broken off and started off on my own. My own business.
Company.
Yeah, my own company. I had one before, but it was a partnership. And this one was like I was on my
your
own.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're building a team, you're kind of starting all over. Mm-hmm. And so my first thought was, can I do this? Because you feel, you know, like, can I do it? Do I have the capacity to take this on right now? Yeah.
Wow.
Can I ask you something?
Me?
How did you come to choose her? Was it a relationship that you guys had before?
So we had the same hairstylist.
Okay.
Yeah. Rita at De Sanchez, and I was getting my hair done, and she was like, congratulations on the purchase, and what are you gonna do with it? And I was like, I don't know, I still haven't found like a contractor or anything. She's like, oh, well, one of my clients does that. I'm like, oh, cool, like send me her information and I'm gonna be interviewing people. So then I think I texted you.
You texted me. Rita texted me and she said, I have a client who just purchased a building. She needs, you know, help. Do you mind if I share your contact info? And I said, yeah, not at all. And then you texted. And then we chatted that day.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know who I was, I didn't know who you were, and we got to know each other through the process.
See, so
the
like
power of connecting.
Shit goes down at the hair salon.
It really does.
It really does.
It really does.
It was.
That's a wonderful story.
I know.
To me, it's one of those like women supporting women thing.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
100%.
you know, Rita
You didn't
did it
know
out
each
of
other.
Just
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever even shared this with you because I didn't want you to feel any type of way. But several people were like, "Are you sure you want to go with a girl, like a woman? You know what I mean? Like, are you sure you want you don't want like a guy to do it, like whatever?" And I'm like, well, I mean, I get a good vibe from her. I don't have like a slimy vibe. Like, I feel like she's honest. Like, her energy feels good. When I've met with men, I don't know, I get like this icky feeling. Not that all men are bad or anything, but like, I don't know, there's something about like male contractors sometimes that are like kind of slimy. Kind of like lawyers, right? You meet with some lawyers and you're like, they're kind of slimy, right?
We just had this conversation in the last podcast.
Yeah. So, and then I was like, well, you know what? Like, I have a good feeling, so I'm just gonna go with it. But I don't think I ever told you that, right?
no, you never did.
So you interviewed her, and you interviewed several others? Like, you asked them specific questions and...
So I think you came to the building, right? Like, we just chatted.
We just chatted on the phone.
Yeah, and then you eventually came to the building, and I was like, okay, let me get like quotes or whatever, which it's impossible, you know, really to quote accurately. And I actually did not formally interview anybody else. I had recommendations for other people, and I was like, I don't like their style. Like, I don't really like their work. Like, nothing against them. I just wasn't. I was just like, I've seen Ethny's work, like the reservas and all that. I was like, I trust her style and like her vision. And I like that I get like this honest vibe from her, which is important, right? Because you enter into a relationship. You know, is she gonna try and like cheat me out of money? Is she gonna try and like cut corners and like make this building like cheaply so she can make more of a profit? You know what I mean? So that sort of thing.
Right. And I didn't know that you were interviewing people. I didn't even think of it as an interview. I thought it was just, does this work for me? Does this work for you? Type thing. Because just on the other side of it, I also have to vet my clients because it is a relationship. It is.
Did you get toxica vibes from me?
No. No, not at all. But yeah, it is, you're asking a lot of the client. They're in their most vulnerable like state to go into something.
It's such a huge investment.
It's a huge investment.
You know
Were
what
you
I mean?
worried that Leah was going to be like nitpicky, like, oh my God, she's going to question every color, she's going to question every, or did you were like, she's going to let me run with it?
I didn't know the extent of it, and now when I meet a potential new client, I do ask how involved they want to be.
Wow.
Because if they want to be 100% heavily involved, red flag. Like, as a designer, you don't.
Is it a red flag if they don't want to be at all?
No, it's a dream client.
Okay, good.
You're the perfect client.
Yes, 100%. You set the bar for all future clients, and it is because there at some point throughout the process you get inspired. You start having an idea of how things can look, and that changes. How the space looks now is not entirely the way it was designed originally, because as the project went on, I started getting different inspiration for different things, and things just kind of went with the flow. And when you have a client that's very insecure about the process and doesn't trust it, you can't work with that creative flow.
You can't develop in the moment.
It's the same thing with social media. When they're very insecure and they come in already negative and they shut down, there's only so much you can do for them.
And they're like, we take the picture. Can you redo the picture? You can only come out so many photos. Just take two and that's it.
No,
Let's move on.
yeah. So you can't. So
so true.
imagine having someone, you're in the flow and they're like, wait, this, that, no, not this, not that. What about this? I saw that, and this, and I showed it to so and so and so and so, and they think maybe this, and it's. You lose,
that's bad.
You lose your inspiration. You lose your fire.
That little fire just turns off. And I always tell the clients, don't be rude to your social media managers, to the designers, because you're going to turn off that fire in them, and they're not going to want to do it anymore. Like, it's just, we're going to go through this over and over.
And I want it to be something that I'm proud of. I want it to be something that I can photograph, and I've had many projects where I can't even go back and photograph because so many things changed. And so, you just kind of have to, there goes one.
Exactly.
Is that part of the reason why you went on your own? Because you wanted to take more control of your projects and your clients?
Yes. I think I just had a different approach of how I like to operate, and one of the things I wanted to heavily do is vet clients, because it is a very emotional process and a very emotional role, which is funny because maybe that's why most men are contractors, right? But it is a roller coaster. Every project can be, obviously.
What is your title? What exactly?
I was going to ask you that. What do you identify as?
Because it sounds like you're not just a contractor.
So, technically, I'm an architectural engineer. That's what I went to school for. I'm a licensed structural engineer. So, architectural engineering, you can go very many different routes. And I chose to go the structural route, and I became a licensed structural engineer. In my past life, prior to this creative side that I have now, or I've always had it, but before turning this side on, I designed buildings. So concrete and steel and all those things. So I designed universities. I was a project engineer, and University of Texas Systems they were one of my biggest clients. Designed a couple A&M ones, and just some in the Valley, others throughout Texas. And that was...
So you weren't part of the actual transformation?
No, because there was always architects involved.
So you were...
I was part of the team that did the technical design.
The structure, the ground up.
Where
the steel beams
Design,
went and...
calculated the foundation, the beams.
But you weren't involved with the building? Or were you? I don't know. Like the building of it, like putting it together.
Through the contractor?
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
I was there for quality control.
Got it.
The contractor would call us and say, hey, we have this issue on site. We need to design a steel plate because now this is over here now, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I would go and inspect before they poured concrete, inspect and throughout various phases. So that's what I would do. I did that for the medical school.
So you were still involved a little bit with construction because you went out to measure the concrete, make sure that they were using the right dimensions of like how much concrete you have to pour based on water and all of the other stuff. And
no, not design the concrete, but specify it, but design the building, like the bones of the building, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
The stuff you don't see. So I did all of that for
that's such a
over a decade.
That's such a foreign concept. Like I would never be good at that. Like, I literally cannot imagine doing anything like that. Like
it was very
technical. I honestly get depressed thinking about it. And I know that's like your passion, but like sitting there designing, calculating, like no, not me. Not me. But that's why it's great.
And that's why you pay her the big bucks.
Yeah, and that's why she does what she does, and that's why she's good at it. So.
And the reason I chose that career was because it piqued my interest that UT had an architectural engineering program. My mom went to school for architecture. She didn't graduate because she got pregnant with me. My dad is a civil engineer, and so I thought, oh, how cool, like there's an artistic side to this. Absolutely was not. There's no artistic side to it. I was heavily technical. But ever since I was a little girl, I would design shoes, I would design clothes, then I wanted to be a photographer, and then I wanted to be an interior designer, and then you get to the point where you need to choose a career, and I thought engineering was a safe route. And so that's why I ended up there.
Is that considered STEM? Women in STEM? That's like still.
Are you part of Shia's University? The contractors, we'll have to connect you later.
Yeah. We just had her. She's not a builder herself, right?
No.
She just created that. Yeah. Okay.
Association for Women in STEM.
Yeah, we need to introduce you to Priscilla because I think y'all could do a lot of good stuff together.
Yeah.
But are you at the point where you're kind of like turning away work now, or?
Yeah, and so that's why I ended up starting my own thing because I wanted the ability to be able to turn down work, turn down bad projects, turn down bad clients, and so since the beginning I've been.
I'm going to ask you a vulnerable question. Like, what's your dream? Like, when you think, like, this would be, like, my, what is it called? Magnum opus or whatever? Like, the best work, like, what would it be designing, like, a library? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, do you have something that you're just, like, you fantasize about, you know? Like, I'm sure you...
Like an opera house or, like, you know, what, like, I want to design something because you would be able to do all of it.
That's a good example.
I think more than anything, what I enjoy throughout the process are the relationships I build and the transformation in each and every one. Like one of my favorite projects ever, and this was prior to Fantich, I had someone contact me from New York, and they're from Edinburgh, and their parents live in the Valley, and his parents lived in his childhood home. He became a professional, and he said he wanted to gift his parents a master bathroom renovation.
Aww.
And so completely transformed that up. I was upside down on that project so bad. Like it was negative. Like we did we lost a lot of money on that project. But it was still one of my favorite projects because I don't know what you call that. Like
the emotion, like the emotion attached to it, like the intention behind it.
Being the power of transformation, I guess.
You must be a very high blue.
What does that mean?
Like
she's into all that too.
Yeah, like a very high blue. It's like very caring.
It's about to change.
I'm not going to change the topic. We'll talk about that later. But I can see you now. I can see your personality now that I understand it. But you still didn't talk about how you went from structural to design. Like how did you develop that?
So it was a lot of I can't stand this anymore. I'm not going to do it. and I did that a couple times, and then. I thought I was done with the industry 100%. And then an engineering company reached out to me and they asked if I could come talk to them. And I said, you don't understand, I'm not looking for a job. Like, I'm not. And they said, no worries, no strings attached, just come talk to us. I said, okay. So I go, and right away I'm like, I'm not looking for a job. I need to get licensed. At the time I wasn't licensed because I was just so heavily overworked through the previous company I was with, and I was burnt out. Long story short, I decided to join part-time as a business development person, so just in charge of making connections and bringing projects. So establishing or nurturing relationships with architects, because typically the architects are the ones that bring in the projects for engineering firms. And that's how it started. And then one thing led to another, and I was offered to join in partnership for a construction company and an interior design company. And that's when I realized, like, the little candle I had blown out a long time ago regarding interior design and the creative side, like it was like it was lit again, and I was like re-inspired, and that's how that took off.
Wow, but you have a very, I mean, just looking at this building, we talk about this all the time.
It's beautiful.
Like, how do you find pieces? Like,
I don't know.
Like inspiration, where does inspiration come from?
I feel like once I get into the creative flow of a project, this is gonna sound weird, but I feel like I let the project take a life of its own, and things just land on my plate, and I'm like, yes, that is the one. Like, I do a lot of sourcing online, obviously, because we don't live in a highly sophisticated, place where we can just go by any showroom and be inspired. So a lot of it is online, and inspiration comes from traveling.
I was just gonna say, when I went to Europe, I saw a lot of little details that Leah's office has over there.
Really?
Yes, and the mirror over here, this little section over here, and I was like, oh, I could see Ethny traveling and like just looking.
I must be astral traveling because I have not traveled to Europe.
Astral traveling. But I think you're also like a visionary in your own right. Like, I think you also create trends. Like, yes, you might be inspired by other things and other places, but you also might be like an artist that people look to in the future as like, oh, I want to emulate her style, or you know what I mean? Like, don't downplay yourself. Like, I think you're like, you have a vision that, and I'm not in this space at all, so maybe you have people you're influenced by, but I think that this is, I mean, a pretty unique building in South Texas. There's other beautiful spaces, but I feel like this is a pretty unique one.
I have a question for both of you. Whose idea was it to keep the strip poles?
100%.
100%. That was your, like, this is my
that was the only thing she asked of me.
Yes.
Please find a place for my poles. And the number of times, the number of times she felt the need to remind me about it.
Yes.
Like, throughout the process.
Yes.
She'd be like, but don't forget about my pole. Like,
yes.
Did you move them, or did you leave the poles exactly where they were positioned when they was stripped
She
up?
moved them, and we had to cut them.
Okay.
She had to cut them, cut the one pole that's here, because it used to be as long as to that second floor.
Yeah.
And since I closed up the second floor, she had to shorten
which
the
I
pole.
tried talking her out of as well, for budget reasons.
Are you happy that it's closed up?
I'm glad that we did. Yes, but I was like,
I think those were like that and the pole were like the two things I'm like, I want, because we came here with my friend Jeff, and he was like, if you want to get a return on this building, you should close up the second floor and rent it out, like create more rentable, usable space.
More real estate, yeah.
So it was just that, and then the pole. And I still remember being terrified. Like sometimes it would just like strike me. What if Ethny's team threw away the poles? Like out of nowhere. I'm like, because it's a busy work site, like maybe the guys were just like, oh, this is trash, let's throw it out. And I'd be like, but there was time, like it would just strike me like, Ethny, I need the poles.
And it's very likely, but only because they weigh so much, it was impossible to just move them and throw them away. Like it was just not, they were just so heavy. At some point, we thought about putting the pole in this room, but then I thought it might be a liability if someone just comes around and starts swinging it.
Yeah, because we see poles and we're like, hey, I want to do it. We did. I mean, not that anybody did that in Mexico. I'm just saying that it happens.
Not that you have any experience with that.
So what are some of the interesting things that you came across while transforming this building, either structurally or things you found or whatever?
Well, we found a lot of things.
That must have been fun.
That was, we found a lot of things. A lot of boxes of files and schedules and things like, and names.
And names, oh my God.
Yeah.
We actually, you found the plans.
I found the plans.
For, because I mentioned this in the last episode, Peppermint Rhino, I think that's what they're called, had purchased Exoticas from the previous owner, and they were going to turn it, I mean, it was going to remain a strip club, but under different ownership. Somehow that deal fell through, but she found the plans that Peppermint Rhino had left in here.
And they were not going to do much to it. No, it was pretty much the same thing. I think they were just going to...
Like everything else, when they sell a restaurant and someone comes in, it's you walking into almost the same space.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't put much of an effort.
As far as the building, though, like what challenges did you run into?
A lot, because I think the building was done in two parts. I think this front part was done first, and then where your office is, I think that was an addition at some point. Because one of the biggest challenges with your office is we had to cut through a block wall. We obviously had to cut through all the block walls to get windows. The foundation wasn't a nightmare. Because
you had to reinforce it?
No. So when you enter from here to the back door, there is an elevation change that was
obvious.
Something ridiculous. Yeah. So it was installing the tile. Well, first of all, we were just going to do polished concrete. That was the original plan. But it was in such bad shape that if we tried to polish the concrete, it was just going to start like coming up, peeling off, and just... So we decided to tile it, but then tiling became an endeavor because you got to make it look...
The elevation.
You can't just be roller coastering down the floor. So that was one of the huge challenges. The fact that I can't just lift the building up from the ground is another thing because of water.
Oh yeah, that's right. Water.
Yeah.
And you guys got water in here.
We got
right?
water in,
And at the very beginning when she bought the building, there was a huge dip down here in the front, and that was my biggest concern, that this area in the front was always going to flood. And so I had a conversation with Leah about ripping up the asphalt here in the front and at least trying to give it any sort of slope that we could, just the tiniest slope, so that at least the water can run down that way. So we did that in the front, but we did not do that in the back.
But we will, right?
But we will, yeah.
Her concern. That was so cute.
You would say, well, it really is like a relationship, and it doesn't end once you move in, you know? And like little things like that, I mean, there were so many changes, and had I not trusted her, and had I not felt like she was an honest person, I would have been questioning everything, you know? Like, I know that if she came to me with a change order, or whatever they're called, that it was needed, right? It wasn't just like, let me make up something so I can make more money. You know what I mean? Which my paranoid self tend to think about, you know, sometimes. But I never I never felt like, okay, Ethny's just trying to like screw me over and like just try and make more money off of me. If she's saying this is a serious issue, it needs to be addressed, because tearing up all this asphalt was a huge expense, you know, and there was just like things like, okay, more money.
For it to be some sort of a relief, because she's still not 100%. It's only as good as what the city drainage, you know.
Yeah, no, that's at the end of the day, that's the problem.
Yeah. So when it comes to water, there's no guarantee. So it was only to just mitigate the existing issue.
So for the viewers that are listening to you, what do you do residential redos again? No, you're like, I'm done with that one.
It's one of those where I have to vet very heavily, because residential is a whole nother thing, because it's your personal home, and so people tend to turn it up a notch on their craziness. So I love doing commercial.
That's true. People tend to get.
I promise not to be crazy. In about 2 years, can I hire you? But I won't be crazy. I won't be crazy.
Because I want to modify my house, and I'm like, I want to put a 2-story on it, because I need more room for the girls.
I'm doing one of those right now, and I tried talking my friend out of it too. She wanted a 2-story, and I'm like, but we're doing it.
But we're doing my house first, guys.
Well, I mean, I'm already living in it, so I mean, she's already got access to it. So
I want a house like, what's her name's? Preston's mom. What's her name?
Roseanne.
Yes. I've never seen it.
Her house is beautiful, and I want to make my little house a little version of that. It's gorgeous.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I feel like this building is just stunning.
Yes.
Like, walking in here and saying Ethny Fantich did this is like huge.
And
it's beautiful.
Didn't do it alone. There's no way to execute without people in your corner. So my team.
I want to mention that she finished this building, 2-3 weeks before giving birth. Like, she was not able to make it to the grand opening.
Grand opening? What day?
April 27th or 28th.
Yeah.
And
I gave birth on the 16th. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I remember you being, 9 months pregnant, doing the final walkthroughs, still, working up until you gave birth, really.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, she's going to give birth and my building's going to be left undone. And, but everything worked out exactly as it was supposed to. So, I'm very happy with it. It's a beautiful space. I get nothing but compliments, and I feel bad that I'm being complimented, because I'm like, I didn't do any of this. This would have been.
Well, you trusted, you invested.
You allowed her to do the work and her vision, and that is a lot.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yes,
right.
Especially for a creative mind.
And it wasn't even hard for me. In fact, I was like, please do not ask me questions. I don't want to pick colors. I don't want to pick fabrics. I don't want to pick patterns. The less you ask me for my input, the better, because I've seen your work. I know you're not going to make this look ghetto. It's going to look elevated. And so just do your thing, which is what I would love for you to do for my house.
We will. Aww. We will.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. It was so nice for our viewers to put a face to who did this building.
The artist.
You can follow her on Instagram. It's at Ethny Fantich.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's it? Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.